Alright, hold on. So Mr. The unofficial 46th President of the United States of America. Um, I'm sorry, but you think you're royalty. You got all that facial surgery for your Mount Rushmore. You thought you were gonna get Harvard. So um, sorry. Cars got ugly face Mount Rushmore. You think you're the most, you get treated like royalty. That's why when you go to the same regions, you have to pay for your double occupancy room at any Marriott, Bonvoy, or Hilton hotel. You don't get presidential suites. Trust me, you gotta pay for your double occupancy room. You like to smoke that crack pipe, whatever, guys. So you got a double occupancy room. You don't know how to treat the American people like royalty. We're American royalty. It's part of the start of the George Washington, of the American Revolution, and the signing of our United States Constitution, which we were all the founding fathers of England. And Alexander Hamilton came in and then became Thomas Jefferson. When you see a picture of Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson is the same man. And he intruded himself, and he said he was from, hold on, West Virginia, then Alexander Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton said he was from Charleston, St. Kitts. Where is St. Kitts? You know, the Caribbean, St. Kitts. So access to the people of St. Kitts. Alexander Hamilton and St. Kitts, they would have preserved that for so many years because he was such an important figure in history. Look, they have an Alexander Museum, but they don't have no homes. Look, they have this two-story Georgian-style building was the birthplace of Alexander Hamilton. Such a white man born in St. Kitts. This is a very, very, very strange story. Look at this home. It's a little two-story home. It's all gated, boarded up. This two-story Georgian Gregorian house style building was the birthplace of Alexander Hamilton in 1757. Hamilton lived on the island until the age of 9. Later in his life, he helped draft the U.S. Constitution and was the first Secretary of the Treasury Department. He was an outspoken advocate of the emancipation of slavery. The Abraham Lincoln, the building today known as Hamilton House houses one of the island's two museums of how he was alive from Emancipation and Proclamation, when he was the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. Anyway, the building today known as Hamilton House houses one of the island's two museums on the first floor. The second floor is the meeting room for the Nevis House of Assembly. The lovely stone building was built around 1680 but was destroyed in an earthquake in 1840 and was restored in 1983. Its historic value, coupled with its beautiful settings on Charleston Harbor, make it an island treasure and a delightful place to spend an afternoon. So we're gonna go further into more history with the Dino, the dinosaur, the devil, and the island of Manhattan. I'm gonna give you a synopsis really quick of the island of Manhattan. So I don't get into I'm a history buff, so I really get into history sometimes. Alright, so here, how a common account states that many purchased Manhattan for $24 worth of trinkets. A letter written by Dutch merchant Peter Schagin to directors of the Dutch East Indian Company stated the Manhattan was purchased for 60 guilders worth of trade, an amount worth of $1,143 US dollars as of 2020. Peter Munich. Let's see who was Peter Munich. Okay. Peter Munich was born in 1580 in Wesel, Germany, and died August 5th in 1638 in the Caribbean Sea. Peter Munich was a woolen merchant from Tournai in present-day Belgium. He was the third director of the Dutch North American colony of New Netherlands from 1626 until 1630 and the third governor of New Netherlands. He founded the Swedish colony of New Sweden on the Delaware Peninsula in 1638. He was an American Dutchman. Why was Peter? Dutch colonial governor New Amsterdam, who is mainly remembered for his fabulous purchase of the Manhattan Island. Great purchase, he was a great investor in Germany. In 1630, the Dutch West Indians suspended Munich from his post for reasons that are unclear, but probably for perhaps unintentionally abetting the land-owning patrons who were engaging in illegal fur trade and otherwise enriching themselves against the interests and others of the West India Company. Del Walmart. I'm sorry, I'm getting to history, but I got something else to go. On August 22, 1760, New Yorkers heard the cannon blast of the Battle of Long Island. 5 days later, an expeditionary force of the 32,000 British regulars, 10 ships of flying, 20 frigates, and 170 transports defeated Washington's troops at Kips Bay and invaded Manhattan Island. The British invaded Manhattan Island. It's the same. How did the British take over New York? And the English sent a fleet to seize New Netherlands, which surrendered. This was used to call Manhattan was called New Netherlands. Without a fight, the English renamed the colony New York after James, the Duke of New York, who had received a charter to the territory from his brother King Charles II. How did the English come in possession of New York? New York gained possession of this territory after Dutch governor Peter Stuyvesant surrendered it to the English army. He surrendered to them. There was very little resistance when the territory was surrendered in 1664. This was way before 1766 was signing the U.S. Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution. This was over 100 years before, as Stuyvesant was an unpopular Dutch ruler and lacked the support needed to keep England from taking over this territory. How did the English get control of New Netherlands? English warships began to surround the colonial center at New Amsterdam with no other options available. Director General Peter Stuyvesant surrendered the colony to an English force and sent without anyone fighting and shot in anger. The 40-year attempt as the Dutch Republic in North America had come to an end. They only last 40 years. They didn't know what to do with the island. In 1673, during the Third Anglo-Dutch War, the Dutch reconquered Manhattan with an invasion force of more than 600 men, but they gave it up to the following year as a peace treaty in which they retained Suriname and South America. They thought this was going to be worth more, so it was a peace treaty deal with the English. What was New York called before the English? And then that's about it. And then, following Hudson's voyages, the Dutch established New Netherlands as fur trading outpost, and the first colony in the New World. Dutch merchants soon began sponsoring trips to the new colony, and the first 31 Dutch colonist families arrived in 1633. They established New Amsterdam, not known as New York. So it was a very, very, very bad thing to do fur trading, and it was inhumane for animals and everything. And he had that problem already in Amsterdam, in the Dutch colony in Germany as well, because he was born in. And then over here, he was trying to do the same thing. So that's why they had to surrender the land to the English. And because the English, because he founded the Manhattan, but we already founded the United States, but the mainland. But this is what happened. But I'm gonna tell you a little more story about. It's 8 minutes already. Wow. Really quick. So Dino the dinosaur who became a person and whatever, which is my name is Brian Dotson. I got nothing, do not think they. Well, him, and Tony were very nosy. Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson. So we had the island of New York. So the founding fathers, Alexander butted into it. He said he was English. Then they supposedly he got killed, but he lived in New Jersey, that little house that's in Charles Street. That they moved to Charles Street, New York recently. So they, Dino could not get into an island because he can't get into the island of New York. They didn't have tunnels, bridges. They used to have to go through the boat from New Jersey. You know, they used to have to go a different direction from Jersey because you couldn't connect from New York unless you went through the Palisades and the Palisade Bridge. You can't even go through there. You have to go all the way through. If you have to go through bridges until you get to Manhattan, even through the Major Deacon and everything. So Dino could never get in here. But Tony was nosy. Alexander Hamilton, Brian, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Kirkberg Story, Apostle the Bus. So he used to go on the boat, and then they kicked him out, and he had to go back to Jersey for a while. That's about it. Another thing is the chess game. Tony loves playing chess game, but people play double chess too, but he plays quadruple chess. But the problem with Tony with the chess, he has pawns. And his hostage situation, he has the pawns that works from the second chessboard, the third chessboard, the first chessboard. But the thing with Tony, he's never gonna hold a knight, a rook, I forgot, a bishop, or a king or queen. You're gonna run out of bishops, pawns eventually. You keep on the pawn game, and the pawn game is never gonna work for you. Another thing with my dad, I never call him Bobby. I never call him father. I always call him dad, father, or Robert. Like, that's my dad. Like my mom is the same that call mom. I never call her mommy or whatever. Like, we're not really crazy Puerto Ricans. All right, take care. Bye.